Hi people, welcome to UK Jazz Dance. I want to share with you information on UK Jazz Dance. UK Jazz Dance has been misrepresented from the day the first writer wrote on it. Has been misinterpreted, and it's been misinterpreted and misrepresented because no heritage knowledge has ever been presented. Most importantly, 99.9% of all the video, which we need to analyze, 99.9% of the photographs that we need to analyze, the culture, north, south, east and west, have been hidden deliberately. So the dancers could not get the prestige, the status, the profile that they wanted. Unfortunately, discrimination is the reason, prejudices and haters is the reason, and I need to say that straight up. I'm a pioneer of UK Jazz Dance. But what I need to say to people, UK Jazz Dance was part of a bigger freestyle dance movement within the African diaspora community. Ska, reggae, calypso, limbo, soul, disco, our culture disco. You have to understand what's been promoted about West Indian culture in Britain, Caribbean culture, is not their dancing. You don't see, for example, being spread around the world, African Caribbean soul dancing, disco dancing, funk dancing, do you? Right? African Caribbeans doing rock and roll, because we danced it very differently. So that's the point I'm making. What's happening has been, there's been misrepresentation. The misrepresentation has come because we've had Eurocentric writers writing on the culture, namely the DJs have been the key writers, basically, or individuals who are in the DJ world have been the key writers. They don't dance, so they don't know about they don't know about the benefits of the dance. They don't know about the heritage. They don't live in the heart of the community or the communities that evolved. They don't live in the heart of the homes of the dancers. They don't know the dance culture, and the dance culture is different for every dancer. My work, like I said, is to share. It's misrepresented because I tried to explain to people, most important, this did not happen in the dance, didn't evolve in a dance school. It's important. It evolved through the oral tradition, and the oral tradition is different for each Caribbean island who came to Britain. Not been identified, never, is the political climate in which we live, the politics, the economics, technological environment, legally, because they give you a driving force about understanding about how the dance developed. Social development, physical, intellectual, cultural, emotional, spiritual development is not been identified. This dance was a spiritual dance, and it informed our spirituality. When our parents came here to the country, West Indians are very much a spiritual people, and they lived their lives Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday were shaped around the spirituality, just like Muslim culture. People understand if they're Protestants, boom, Sunday was an important day, Saturday's an important day, and Friday is an important day for people, spiritual days. And in the week, people went to activities to do with the church, etc., which has not been identified. As I said, the key writers are Eurocentric. They don't live in the heart of our community, but yet they have been conceited enough and been arrogant enough to say they know about our culture. They don't seek experts to write about the dance. This is crucial, because what happened, we're approaching 2020, a new generation of dancers are coming through. Amazingly, what happened was the staying power of dancers like myself and other dancers kept the art form alive when Western DJs made sure they created scenarios where the dance would be killed off socially. I'm an individual, I'm in my lab. I had a lab, and I'm not the only dancer that had a lab. So I kept up my dancing and found places where it got respected around the world and within the local, regional, national places where the dance could continue. But most importantly, I want to identify the dance started within our parents' wombs, and we danced within our homes because the equipment to play the, say example, tapes with the music was in the home, records. So this is the beautiful thing, how I have maintained to keep my art form alive, and why I dance is important for people to know. I dance for the 10 benefits that's been associated today through authoritative research that talks about the benefits, health benefits of dance, or the 12 health benefits. Go and look up dance and health benefits. Tell you about cognition, tell you about making you feel good, tell you about bone density, keeping you alert, keeping you positive, heightening your self-esteem, giving you high morale. Go and look up. That's the reason I do it, because intuitively, intuitively I felt it from a child when I started to dance. And our parents knew that because they danced themselves, and they knew in the Caribbean how people kept themselves alive, kept themselves, most importantly, hopeful, optimistic, and with a high morale to face the traumas of racism, prejudices, discriminations, from setbacks due to marginalization, due to social exclusion of West Indians in Britain, and colonialization, which my parents faced. It's important for people to have an understanding. My dad is Jamaican and mum's Grenadian. And what happened, most importantly, that the dance had a role. So one of the key things is identify to people, dance is a PhD subject. The dance is a social dance. That's not been identified. The dance is a holistic dance, not been identified. The dance is a rites of passage dance, because we use dance as a rites of passage. So we created a rites of passage by African retentions, by West Indian retentions, unknown to dancers, but identified. Let me go back. Dance is a PhD subject. When you study the PhD subject, you'll study the social, physical, intellectual, cultural, emotional, spiritual influences, political, economic, technological, environmental, and legal, and more. What influenced the dance? What is the role, responsibility of the dance? It was to bond us. It was to make us feel good about who we were. It was to build camaraderie between males and males, females and females, females and males. That was the purpose of the dance, because the dance came for the culture who invented it first. And all the writers, like I said, to date have been Eurocentric writers. They've not written it from a perspective of coming from us first. They've identified all West Indians are the same. And that is, it's such a disgrace. I cannot tell people if you know our history. The West Indians set up a dysfunction. People need to understand that. You know slavery was huge. So what's been missed out is, first of all, our DNA, our heritage, great African kingdoms. The dances that we did, there was political reasons why we did them. There was economic reasons why we did them. There were social reasons why we did them. There was legal reasons why we did them. So, example, people dance in secret. The Irish had to do that. The Scottish had to do that because our dances were banned. People gave us wrongful information, said what happened when the Africans went to the West Indies. They didn't dance their own dances. They didn't have their own instruments. They did do that. That's a lie. They passed on stories. And they passed on stories secretly. They passed on beats secretly. That's what's not acknowledged, because what happened was the Eurocentric writer writes on the UK jazz dancer as though he don't have no intelligence. Well, I'm in my lab. This is a picture of me returning back to the stage after university. 2 years after university. I'm 47 going back to the stage. Yeah? Promoting live improvisational performance, because this art form came from the home and then established itself on the stage. And I'm one of the dancers. My legacies, I took it from the home to the established stage. Do you understand? In its entirety as a live improvisational performance, as a live improvisational art form, because that's what it is. Yeah? And so what happened was, I did it within this movement called Mixed Movement, which was about jam sessions, which was about people coming together in a dancing in an improvisational way. Getting established dancers who are skilled in live improvisational performance, just like the bebop musicians, just like the modern jazz musicians, having a jam session from a skill perspective, bringing together, to record what they do, and document it. Well, it's the same for me. And this is a picture of me. I was on the front of the Mixed Movement Festival because I'm a mixed movement dancer. And that's happened because I, as an individual, I am one of the longest UK freestyle dancers. And UK jazz dance, which is basically an umbrella term for a number of UK underground jazz dancing, is one element of the dances that I involved myself in. You got what I'm saying? That's part of my legacy. I was a person who believed in freestyle dancing, our UK freestyle dancing, and teaching it in an authentic way, locally, regionally, nationally, and internationally, and identifying. I was dancing to jazz before UK jazz dance came about, which was about 1975. And I wasn't the only one. A whole heap of people dancing to jazz, because everything was impinged by jazz for 50s, 60s born. I'm a 60s born child. Jazz was everywhere, in everything that was going on. For the 50s child, jazz was everything that was going on. Do you understand? And it was experimental. It was avant-garde. It was pushing the boundaries of learning, training, and development. And that's what I've always done as a dancer. I've kept that. And I talked about the authenticity. This art form is a live improvisational art form. From you stop doing it from a live improvisational art form, it's not a culture. So what happened, some people brought it to stage and choreographed it in this choreographic way. That's not the way the dance was. It's a communal activity. In some way, you have to keep it communal. And mixed movement did this because what happened, the communal is you don't know what's going to happen next. It's live, it's improvisational. And in communities, you have dancers. They're exceptional dancers. And they get together and they jam with musicians. They get together, they jam with poets. They get together, they jam with storytellers. They get together and create their own stories like I have done as an individual. Anyway, UK jazz dance, identifying that UK jazz dance has been misrepresented by Eurocentric writers. Now and then. A film called Absolute Beginners that betrayed the leading commercial dancers, spread to the world a misrepresentation of UK jazz dance. The Face magazine in 1986 did called a New Jazz Dance Fashion special, misrepresented the dance to the world because my clothes, the dancers danced, used clothes as a way to be political, to be revolutionary. So you have to have something called class acts. Class acts were dancers in jazz period started to wear tuxedos as a rebuttal to the black and white minstrel show because blacks have been portrayed as clowns, as idiots and fools, and they wanted to show how graceful they were. Exceptional polished choreography was one of the key things, and exceptional polished improvisation took place. They worked for hours to do that like I did. My clothes are symbolic. So part of a project I'm doing is to do with the clothes, my own clothes. Blue K Jazz Dance out.